Have you ever felt lonely? Have you ever come home after a long days of work, maybe in your own business or in your job, just to find the apartment or the house completely empty, and all you want is to spend your time with a special girlfriend, life partner, wife, but somehow you're unable to attract that special someone? Well, let me tell you something. There's millions of other men who are in the same position as yourself. Today we're going to be speaking about a study conducted by Harvard called Adult Development that's been going on already for 75 years, and they've tracked the lives of 724 men over 75 years, and they've made a couple of key discoveries around the subject of loneliness and relationships. And you will also get some practical strategies on how you can create an amazing social circle for yourself, high quality relationships, not just helping you find that special girlfriend or life partner, but building a truly livable and fulfilling life for yourself. The first finding is that social connections are really good for us and loneliness kills us. They found that the experience of loneliness is toxic. People who are more lonely than they want to be are less healthy, neurologically as well as biologically speaking. They are less happy, and their overall sense of well-being declines much more rapidly over the course of several years. I work with clients from now 16 different countries. I've spoken to men from all around the world, and I can tell you that a lot of men are lonely, even the ones who are super successful in their jobs and their business, and most likely you are as well. These people do not have enough high-quality relationships. If I were to ask you right now, how many high-quality relationships, even just to other men, do you currently have in your life? What would you say? Now, there's a couple of parameters that we could use to define what a high-quality relationship means. And one is, do they actually have your best interest in mind? And does that manifest in their words as well as in their actions? Second, can you share good news with them? A lot of people, when you share good news with them, they're jealous and spiteful. Or are they also successful, and are they just super excited for you and celebrate your success with you? Can you share bad news with you and they don't judge you for it? Do they support you on your goals? Are they generally people that make you feel at home? How many of those relationships do you currently have? Well, if you don't have enough, then after me naming the 3 different findings that the Harvard study has found, I'm going to give you some practical strategies on how you can find somebody to build an amazing life for yourself, as well as create a wider network of high-quality relationships. The finding number 2 is that it's not just about the quantity, but about the quality of the relationships that matters. You can be in a marriage and still be lonely. You can be in a crowd of people. You can be in a big city. You can live in New York and be still super lonely. Why is that? Well, it's the bond, it's the warmth we experience in the relationship. It's not just about having a lot of people around us, while that also matters. I mean, you got to keep in mind, 300,000 years ago, where we as human beings were shaped, our brain was predominantly shaped into the form that it is today, and we've been in our current form as people. We've had people around us all the time. We've had our tribe of 50, 100, 200, 300 people around us all the time, 24/7. We were never lonely. Some people tell you that you should go to the mountains and heal in the mountains. Loneliness is okay. You got to learn to cope with loneliness. That's nonsense. Absolute bullshit. It's so crazy. The idea of healing in loneliness is absolutely ridiculous. There's a guy called Russell Brand. I think he's absolutely amazing. I think he's amazing. I just want to point that out. But I disagree with something he said the other day. I saw a video of him the other day saying that sometimes that feeling of loneliness can be a symptom of a deeper cause, of something else going on there. And while that may be the case at times, most often when people are lonely, when men in our society are lonely, they're just fucking lonely. Because if you work super hard in your own business and or you work super hard in your job, but you just don't have that special girlfriend who can film videos for you or with whom you can travel the world, have a family with, and you don't have anybody to share that with, or even just high quality relationships to other men in addition to that, well, of course you're gonna feel fucking lonely. We need it. Neurologically, they've done so many other studies where they found out that when we're with people who, this is my little addition, make us feel at home, or my paraphrasing of what they were saying, there's certain neurotransmitters being released. Oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, I'm no expert. You basically become neurologically happy when you're with other people, when you touch them, when you're in actual proximity, not just through a freaking screen. Finding number 3 is that high quality relationships, and now they're predominantly talking about man to women relationships, are good for our brain. They found out that people those men who were the happiest with their partner at the age of 50 were the sharpest mentally at the age of 80. And I may be getting some details wrong here, but that's roughly the gist of it. If you're happy in your intimate relationship with another woman at the age of 50, your memory decline is much less than with the other people. Your memory stays a lot sharper than those who live in shitty relationships, in shitty marriages, or those who don't have any at all. Now, the thing is, if you're a highly intelligent man, you have a good job, you have your own business, and you don't have that right girlfriend or life partner in your life, that either because you can't get dates at all or because you're only getting dates with the wrong women, you're not gonna settle for being alone. You're not going to settle for just being alone. You're going to end up with somebody. But what this study points out is that being with the wrong person is almost as bad as being alone, even though I would argue that being alone is probably the worst thing. But being in a relationship, in a marriage with the wrong woman has detrimental effects on your brain as well as your experience of life. They have done other studies where they found out that the #1 predictor for happiness overall is relationships. But it's super important that you find the right partner, not the perfect partner, because perfect doesn't exist, but you should aspire to find the perfect partner so you can end up with an amazing person. If you commit to the wrong relationship too soon, you're fucked. I cannot tell you how many men I see on a weekly basis who jump into relationships, marriages, long-term commitments with women who are just not right for them simply because they don't believe they can find anybody with whom they can have an actual compatibility regarding the personality, their values, their goals, sex drive, all these other things, religion, politics. They deep down inside, they don't think they can find anybody like that, so they commit too early. Oh, I'm 30, 40, 50 now. If I don't hop on the train right now, maybe there's gonna be nobody left. That's crazy. If you're 30, 40, 50, 60 years of age, you can easily date women who are 20, 30, 40, 50. It doesn't matter. There's literally billions of women in the world. There's 400 million women in the world in your age bracket. If you live in New York, I'm not sure how many people live in New York, 12 million, 4 million. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's say half of the population in that city is female, and then around maybe 7 to 10% of those are in your age group. You can find them. Do not commit to the wrong relationship too soon. That is what I hammer my clients with in my coaching program, because I actually give a fuck about my clients. I give a fuck about you, whether you're going to become a client or not. That doesn't matter to me. Obviously, it matters. But I want you to be happy nonetheless. So I'm telling you, in this case, what I'm telling them. Don't commit too soon. Learn how to build attraction. Understand the psychology. Find somebody who can teach you. Go out there, spend 15, 20 years learning it yourself. It doesn't matter. Do not commit too soon. Fucking ants crawling up my leg here. So, find somebody who's right for you. And that's also true for men-to-men relationships, because I've had friends who are quite narcissistic. And I don't like how much the term narcissist is being thrown around these days. There is a spectrum, right, of selfishness and narcissistic personality traits. But nonetheless, I think it's important to become aware of who's a good fit for you, even just in terms of a friendship, and who's a bad fit for you. So many men jump into friendships with other men who also aren't right for them. I'm telling you, I'm speaking to really highly accomplished men who are 40, 50, 30 every single week. and they have problems finding high quality other male friends. Sorry if I'm moving a little bit here, trying to not get too eaten up by the ants while I'm filming this video here for you guys in the mountains in the south of Germany. Please make a commitment to yourself that you will not tolerate poor relationships, because they will come to eat you up in the long term. I was married, and that marriage ended because we just weren't right for each other. I just committed to her because I was psychologically attached, because I was like, if I don't commit right now, then she's going to end the relationship. If I don't get married, then she's going to end the relationship. And I didn't want that, because I didn't believe that I could find somebody else. I didn't have social skills. I didn't understand the dynamics of man-to-women interactions. I didn't have the skill set of communicating my personality authentically and effectively to women, tailored on the context, tailored depending on the context at that time. So I committed to a marriage. We now have a daughter together, and that's great, and we're both taking care of her, and that's fine. But that is pain that could have been avoided. Now it's a great learning lesson because I'm able to pass it on to all of you guys. But since I don't think you are going to become dating and relationship coaches, why don't you just save yourself from years of suffering? I'm telling you, there were anxious periods. I've never been too depressed, but periods where I just felt terrible. In the year leading up to the wedding, half a year later, and we ended it pretty much half a year later, I ended it because I realized I couldn't take it anymore, and I also found a mentor of mine a little bit beforehand. So he started showing me the path away and the light, if you will. An angel in disguise, if you will. But that was a lot of suffering that could have been avoided for me and for her. And I don't want to say it's just her responsibility, just my responsibility. It's mixed responsibility when people come together and they don't talk very clearly about their personalities, their values, their goals, where they're going. Become more ruthless when it comes to cutting out the wrong people. You have no idea how good life gets when you're with the right people. You have no idea how easy it can be when you're with the right woman. I had so many conflicts with my ex-wife. We flew to Spain and we'd argue over little things like, I'll tell you something, okay? And I'll never speak about her badly in public. She's a really, really good person. She's a really good and very intelligent person. We just weren't right for each other. But a little example, we were on a flight to Spain. It was supposed to be a romantic, not honeymoon, but like a romantic kind of weekend away, right? Just a bit of a city break. So I'm sitting there and about to put my seat back. Obviously, I check beforehand really quickly if he has beverages on the little tray, and obviously I wouldn't want that to be spilled on the seat. I check he doesn't, and I'm about to put my seat back. My ex, she grabs my hand and she looks at me. She's like, don't do that. Like, what? All right, no, don't do that. You have to ask him permission first. I'm like, excuse me? So she was of the opinion that I'd have to ask the guy behind me for permission if I can put my seat back. Now, I'm obviously going to be considerate, make sure that it isn't, but I don't have to ask permission to put my seat back, okay? Because he can put his seat back as well, right? And this is just one of many examples. Dishes. I could tell you a lot of things that caused a lot of trouble for me and her in that relationship. We didn't speak for the entire duration of the flight and an hour after leaving the plane. Can you see the impact that's going to have on the quality of your life if you don't end up with the right person? And if you're with the right person, it's going to be not conflict-free. No relationship is ever conflict-free. But instead of having 9 out of 10 conflict, you're going to have 1 out of 10 conflict. There's always going to be conflict in relationships. That's why I teach my clients something called nonviolent communication by Marshall D. Rosenberg. Obviously, I'm not certified in that, but I'm teaching certain ideas of that. Obviously, you have to take care of the communication of your own autonomous, independent needs in the relationship, but you first have to end up with, the right person, because 99% of your happiness is going to depend on not the communication afterwards and try to fix things with communication, but with being with the right person in the first place. Right? If you're just not compatible in terms of religion, politics, somebody is totally against breaking rules and the other person doesn't really give a fuck about rules. I just don't give a fuck about rules. You know, doesn't mean I'm an outlaw, doesn't mean I don't care about the law. Obviously, I respect the law. But if there's a little rule broken here or there, that's fine, as long as nobody gets harmed in the process. Right? As long as nobody gets harmed in the process, and they're saying, For example, you're not allowed to go to the changing rooms and try on clothes. You have to take them home, bring them back. And I'm like, I might go to the changing rooms anyway if nobody's watching, and I might try them on right there in the shop. You know, no crazy things like that. But these have been things that were actual points of arguments and conflict in my previous marriage. And if you've been married or you're divorced and you have children, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So please make a commitment right here, right now, to get on dating apps, to start using Facebook, Instagram, online speed dating events, start meeting women in real life, start learning how to approach women, how to meet women from all these different channels so you can get numbers, schedule dates, it's like a funnel, right? Start dating a few and eventually end up with an amazing person. It's fucking possible. You can do it. As generic and mainstream as this may sound, given the mainstream personal development narrative we're constantly exposed to on various social media platforms. But the reason all these motivational speakers are yelling at you that you can do it is because you fucking can. I was in a coaching call yesterday with several clients of mine. And one of the guys, he's making fantastic progress, and then he says, well, fingers crossed I'll find someone as well, because one of the guys was sharing his success, and he says, fingers crossed. And then I'm not going to say his name, let's call him John for the sake of it. I say, John, it's not fingers crossed. And what I'm telling him is, if you use dating apps, like this, if you do this many approaches and you learn how to do it with the demonstrations, right, everything that's covered in the coaching, the texting blueprint, everything you need from A to Z is covered in that coaching program. It is not fingers crossed, it is inevitable. Success is inevitable. It doesn't have to be with me. It really doesn't. This video is independent. Obviously, I want you to join the coaching program because look at the testimonial videos. Look at how successful all these men become. How great the relationships are. Look at the testimonial videos that are on the website, that are on TikTok, that are on YouTube. Check it out. But independent of that, even if it's not with me, find somebody else. Go out, approach women by yourself. I do not give a flying fuck. The thing I literally care about in this video, right here, right now, is that you stop tolerating the wrong people, the wrong men, as well as women in your life, and that you make a commitment to greatness. And not just greatness as a grandiose statement about your personality, but greatness in terms of the relationship that you want to have. It's really possible. It's absolutely possible. So remember, high quality or relationships in general make us feel good. They contribute directly to our well-being. Loneliness kills. 1 out of 5 Americans at any given point in time reports to be lonely. That's 65 million Americans right now. I'm assuming they're talking about US citizens. You're not alone. If you feel lonely and you're not able to find the right girlfriend or life partner, you're not alone. But it is a learnable skill set. I was in a relationship where I felt lost. I had no idea that it is even learnable, that you can learn to be funnier, to not run out of things to say when you're on the date. If you're dating multiple women, well, how can you find the right ones? One of the biggest things I help my clients with is, first of all, becoming aware of what kind of women they're actually going after, and then helping them with their confidence, understanding their own value, that they're able to contribute to the relationship. It's only ever confidence, communication, and clarity. Confidence, communication, and clarity, and you can learn all of that. And if you want to learn in detail how you can find the right girlfriend or life partner, then apply now for a first free coaching call. During that call, we'll create a plan for you, step by step, based on your individual situation, how you can find an amazing girlfriend or life partner. If you're ready, if you're serious to commit, come into the free call. The free call is free, by the way. It's going to be completely free. And you can decide then whether you want to join the coaching program or not. That's completely up to you. But if you want to find somebody, it is one of the most effective and fastest ways. I really give a shit about you, whether you join or not. Please start taking action right now. I wish you all the best here from the south of Germany. Germany's third biggest lake, by the way, right there, Germany's third biggest lake. The Chiemsee is what it's called, visiting my mother and my brother here with my beautiful girlfriend behind the camera. Have a fantastic day. I wish you all the best. As being alone, it's almost as running from the fucking insects. Let's go again.